SCP-7356 Non-Canonical Materials. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. The materials utilized in summoning and maintaining SCP-7356 are highly esoteric and thus already unavailable to the public. The skull required for the ritual is present within Site-17 at all times and is handled by available D-Class personnel. A specialized humanoid containment chamber has been constructed in the low-security wing of Site-17 based on the original area where SCP-7356 was first summoned. This containment chamber contains an assortment of false 0.96-meter-wide hallways on each wall, a couch in the middle for attendants, and a toolbox filled with 22-centimeter-long nails, replenished by D-Class at the end of every testing period. The ritual for summoning SCP-7356 requires a minimum of 2 individuals to act as the ritualist and the attendant. The duties of the ritualist and the attendant are as follows. The ritualist will remain aware of the ritual. They will be asked to carry the collected skull, see description, into the testing chamber. They must follow the instructions given to them by the attendant until the point where they must place the skull against the nearest surface. The ritualist will inform the attendant that they are performing a ritual once SCP-7336 is summoned. The attendant must be amnesticized before the ritual. They will be given a series of written instructions to follow, which includes the movement of the collected skull from its holding place to the testing chambers. They will be asked to repeat these instructions until the conditions align that allow SCP-7356 to be summoned. The ritualist will, at this point, inform the attendant that they are performing a ritual. At the end of each testing period, the surface the skull was placed will be decontaminated. The skull will be removed from the chamber. It will then be returned to biological storage in safe class locker. Description: SCP-7356 is either an entity that variably manifests in a selected space if certain parameters are met. The parameters are as follows. The ritual must take place inside a transitional space such as a hallway, a parking lot, a break room, etc. Break rooms and hallways have been the most successful in summoning SCP-7356. The ritualist must possess the skull of REAO 6124-A, a prehistoric predatory bird. The skull must lack its jawbone. The ritualist must have verbal consent of the attendant to put the skull against another surface. This attendant must not know of or understand the ritual and its purpose. Once these parameters are met, there is a chance SCP-7356 will exit the provided skull. The method in which it performs this action is unclear. SCP-7356 is a humanoid, approximately 1.8 meters tall. It lacks pigmentation in its skin and a visible mouth. The entity is not hostile. Once summoned, it will move as far as possible from any conscious beings in the space provided, though it will not hide itself. It will then observe its summoners until the ritual is suspended. As soon as the ritual is suspended, SCP-7356 will begin to dissipate. Its body will rapidly become transparent, then disappear entirely, leaving a pile of feathers belonging to various black and brown feathered birds. Those in the presence of SCP-7356 have not reported adverse effects. However, assigned ritualists, even those who have been amnesticized, have reported experiencing dreams depicting an unknown species of bird, possibly a crow or raven, gliding along a hallway. Said individuals have reported that the area around the bird's beak is damaged, though the specific manner in which it's damaged differs between subjects. Addendum: Discovery: A cache of anomalous materials were scheduled to be transferred to Site-17. The transfer was ordered on 3/6/2013 and was expected to occur 1 week later. As none of the requested objects were harmful or classified in nature, SCP-4051, an individual capable of summoning any item it can properly conceive of, formally allowed to assist in duties around Site-17 before its classification of Keter in July of 2013, was asked to aid in the transport. SCP-4051 readily complied. On the day before the materials were scheduled to arrive, SCP-4051 requested a meeting with Dr. Jules Yasena, its therapist, in a state of distress. This request was granted, and SCP-4051 was escorted to her office shortly after. The meeting is transcribed below. Hi, Rainer. This is very unexpected. Is everything okay? Yeah, yeah, nothing happened to me. Right, but you asked to see me because SCP-4051 fidgets in its chair, looking down at the ground. After tapping its feet in rapid succession, it looks back up at Dr. Yasena. I have a really bad feeling about tomorrow. Yeah, how come? I thought you were excited. It's your first big job. I had this dream. Shoot, tell me about it. I won't interrupt. Well, I don't know how to describe it. I was a camera, I guess, just floating along, and I was following this bird down this long hallway. The bird was black and really big, and the feathers were falling out of it, but it just kept going in a straight line. Oh, and the hallway was like the ones here in the site. Same carpeting and wall color and everything. So the bird is flying down the hallway, not really flapping its wings or anything, and I guess I stepped in front of it, and I saw its beak. It was cracked down the middle, like through both its nostrils and its chin and everything. It was like something hit it really hard in the face, and under some of the cracks, it had all these gross little teeth. And that's when it looked at me, in my eyes and everything. We stared at each other, I think, and it kept gliding along, and then, like, bam! It crashes into a wall behind us, and I spin around, right up next to the wall, like I was about to crash into it too. So I backed up, and then I looked back at the bird. There was a nail through its head, but it wasn't alive anymore. It was just a skeleton. Its mouth was open, and all its teeth were embedded in the wall. That's how far open the jaw was. That's a lot. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine, but that's not all. Sorry, Rainer. You can continue. No, it's okay. Well, I helped the bird close its mouth. I tried to pull on the nail, but it flinched like it was scared. Then all the bones fell to the ground, and I looked down. SCP-4051 lowers its head as it narrates. It was like the scene shifted again. I saw this really pale person peeking around a corner and looking at me. And then it slipped away, and that's when I woke up. A person? Were they familiar to you? Maybe. It was so vivid, but now I don't really remember. I see. You want me to call in and say you can't participate tomorrow? No, no. I actually feel a lot better now because I talked about it. Are you sure? Yeah, yeah. SCP-4051 stands from its chair. Thank you. No problem at all. I'll radio you in, okay? Try to get some sleep. Yasina stands and exits the camera view, though her voice, while muffled, is audible. SCP-4051 waits for her to exit the screen, then begins pacing back and forth. End log. The next day, the materials arrived at the site as expected. Director Thomas Graham took control of the operations in the loading dock. The supply drop team was delayed by unrelated, unexpected circumstances, and the team was permitted to leave early before an oncoming snowstorm. This left 2 more shipments unattended in the dock. Director Graham requested SCP-4051's aid in moving the shipments to the headquarters of the SO Physics Department. SCP-4051 complied. While en route to the headquarters, it is believed SCP-4051 accidentally summoned SCP-7356 for the first time. Begin log. SCP-4051 and Director Graham enter the frame together. Graham is ahead of SCP-4051 by a few steps. SCP-4051 is holding the REAO 6124-A skull in its arms, as well as dragging a wooden crate behind it. The crate has Site 87 stamped onto its side. Graham is holding a clipboard and pen and appears to be writing. Double time, 51. We're not asking a lot from you. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. SCP-4051 attempts to match Graham's pace, the crate slipping in the back of its heel. It jolts, the skull teetering out of its arm for a moment. Hold it properly, 51. Yes, sir. SCP-4051 frowns, slowing down. Graham does not appear to notice. He continues walking forward, flipping through the papers on his clipboard. SCP-4051 gently places the handle to the crate on the ground, leaving it be. It attempts to adjust the weight of the specimen, then puts the skull against the wall. Graham speaks as if he is distracted. 51. Well, Graham begins writing on his clipboard, sighing. SCP-4051 stares into the skull eye sockets. Its expression is unreadable. We're going to take a quick break. Set my assets down wherever you see fit. See to it they are not damaged. You can take your gloves off for the time being. I'm going to make a call. Just put it down anywhere? Yes. Graham steps to the side of the hallway, a few meters away from SCP-4051. SCP-4051 tilts its head and examines the skull closer. Goosebumps become visible on its skin. Graham shuffles and pulls a radio transmitter off his belt. He unsuccessfully attempts to call for Gamma 5 Agent Beck twice. Agent Beck and Director Graham would later meet to discuss an item in transport, then flips to another channel. Both channels play static with occasional bursts of what sounds like ducks quacking. The wall behind Graham discolors, then curves inward. It then begins to crack, what appears to be yolk spilling out of its holes. As this occurs, SCP-7356's face becomes visible from inside the wall. It pushes outwards, floating through the air before landing directly behind Graham. Its head is ducked over Graham's shoulder. Its face obscured, the yolks dribble upwards onto the wall, and the wall repairs itself. SCP-4051 shivers and turns its head. SCP-4051 stares at SCP-7356 in silence, its mouth agape. SCP-7356 swings its head around, almost dropping into a quadrupedal stance. Behind Graham, it stares back at SCP-4051. SCP-4051 takes a deep breath, then shouts, "Director, look out!" Graham, startled, jolts and turns around. As he turns his torso, SCP-7356 ducks beneath its legs and crawls between them, scuttling across the hallway. Graham appears unaware of SCP-7356's presence. What is it? Graham swivels his head to the side, then straightens at the sight of SCP-7356's movement. He shuffles across the hallway, standing beside SCP-4051. The two of them watch as SCP-7356 slips around the corner. Graham and SCP-4051 stare at the corner. After a brief moment, SCP-7356 drapes its head forward and stares back at them. It places a hand on the wall. SCP-4051 removes the skull from the wall and walks toward SCP-7356 tentatively. As it approaches, SCP-7356 slowly slides its hand back around the wall, then pulls its neck away, no longer visible. SCP-4051 peeks around the corner, holding the skull to its chest. On the ground there is a pile of feathers. SCP-4051 looks back and forth, before turning back to face Graham. Graham, pressed against the wall, begins to sidestep out of view. SCP-4051 runs after him, leaving the crate behind. Endlog. Director Graham and SCP-4051 arrived at the headquarters unharmed. The specimen was confiscated, and SCP-4051 was brought back to its containment chamber after the administration of Class S slow burn amnestics. At the request of Director Graham, citing the possibility of mimetic contagion. As of writing, testing is ongoing.